and I'm ready because we're going to be doing a little ripping while we do this podcast today. I decided to stop into Target, Josh.
Oh,
And
you were being serious.
oh yeah, while we record, why not just do a quick little rip? See if we can hit a case hit manga out of these Prism Blasters, which is a very low possibility. But if somehow, some way we get one, well, here's the thing, Josh. If I hit a LeBron manga, which I'm pretty confident is roughly around $2,500 to $3,000, you, my friend, and I will be going to the NBA Finals, paid for by the manga card. If our teams obviously get
by
there.
LeBronathan. Let's go.
By LeBronathan. If we somehow hit it. Now, other mangas are good too. There's other ones. So we'll see. I don't know what the values on some of them other ones are, but we'll figure something out. I mean, at the end of the day, that's gonna be.
You go, bro.
We're gonna figure something out. We want to go to these finals, right? So if this is gonna happen, it's gonna happen by getting paid by a nice $2,500 card brought to you by Prism NBA Blasters. What's going on, my man? We got to talk a lot about some sports today. Some basketball. 4-0?
4 homers in the first inning.
What is happening? That's literally opening day.
Literally. There was one out in between, but there were 4 homers so far. Now Jazz is up.
Well, isn't that what happened in opening day too? Wasn't there an out in between, or was it 2 outs in between?
No,
and Austin Wells went
3 first. I think Wells was the leadoff hitter.
No, opening day?
Yeah.
No, we got 3 off an Esther.
Yeah, I thought Wells was leadoff.
No, I think Ben Rice led off. Oh no, Paul Goldschmidt led off. Paul Goldschmidt led off that game.
Nestor didn't pitch opening day. Peralta did.
No, the game we hit the 3 home runs was off an Esther though.
Oh, maybe.
It was, I think, game 2.
But Wells was leadoff opening day against Peralta.
Oh, that could have been the case. Anyways,
right, let's see what we got here. Ben, can we zoom in or any chance?
Well, I mean, don't worry. You'll get a sense of.
I was working on that. That's exactly what I was trying to do. So give me a second.
There is a backwards card. I don't know if that means anything good, but we're gonna hope for some magical things happening here. But while we're ripping basketball, we might as well talk about some basketball, bro. What did you guys do to those Grizzlies?
I mean, I could say the same thing to you about the Heat. I mean, these play-in teams, they don't look like playoff teams. Or unless we're just doing it to them like that.
That is crap. Cody Williams, silver. Ugh.
Baby Dub.
You like Cody Williams?
Baby Dub. He's J-Dub's brother.
Kyle Anderson cracked ice on the Warriors, even though you just got onslaughted by the Cavs. Yeah, dude, I mean, what we saw in the first round of the series between our teams was kind of expected. But, I mean, the Grizzlies, here's the difference. The Grizzlies, they weren't your typical 8-seed team. You know, there was like 2 weeks ago, they were hovering around the 2-3 seed. And then, you know, all those teams that were so close, they kind of, you know, it was such a close matchup, right? Like who was going to come out and be the number 2 seed? It became Houston, but it just, I mean, it was so close. And so, you know, the series, though, was not very close at all. I mean, what was it, game 1? How much was that difference?
51.
51.
And then the Cavs ended with 55. It just seems like we're on a crash course.
Man, let me tell you something. It doesn't look so great right now, but we're not going to lose hope. We're not going to lose hope. You know, we got to try our best here. See what we got. Bowl cracked ice. Wow, that's crap. It's okay though.
Got 4 home runs in the first inning, and then just keeping on pitching.
I mean, listen, I don't see any path that doesn't show for the Cavs and the Thunder to meet in the finals. I just think that the caliber of basketball they're playing. Yes, they were supposed to do this, but the caliber of basketball they're playing, you could see other teams are struggling. Even like Boston, up 3-1 in that series, they've had to battle tough. And so, are you really that confident that the Celtics are going to beat the Cavs? A lot of people are like, how can you not be?
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's kind of cool, actually. I wish we got one more pack
after. I'm not confident at all in that. I have the Cavs beating the Celtics. If the Celtics are with the Magic like this, I don't know if like an actual playoff team is going to be able to take them down. They're going to be able to take them down, but I think the Cavs will handle them no problem.
Pacome Dadier, you know who that is?
Pacome Dadier?
I have no idea who that is. Oh my God, Scoot Henderson, second year cracked ice. Wow. Okay, that was a terrible blaster to rip. Now I kind of knew this; it was a very low chance, but you know we like to take our chances here a little bit, a little gamble, a little card rip. But now that this is over with, I'll get back into the important stuff of this podcast.
Hmm.
Bye-bye, Blaster. See you later.
Hmm.
If you got little kids walking by, you got kids who come in here at all? Actually, no, I'm not going to give it to little kids.
That's funny.
I keep them for myself because I need all those 35-cent cards. No, you can give them to the little kids. We'll see. So, I mean, everybody else is playing in the first round. The Cavs, the Thunder, they get a nice little break. We got Indiana or Milwaukee as the two potential Cavs options to play in the second round in the semis. And you guys have the Clippers and the Nuggets, correct?
Correct.
Who would you rather face? Not that it really matters. I don't think there's a team that compares.
The Nuggets.
Really? You'd rather face the former champs or a couple of years ago champs?
Yeah, because I feel like the Clippers are a complete team. I feel like we've handled everybody. So I don't really have a fear, but if I could choose, maybe I'd pick the Clippers so we could actually have like a series to watch where like I don't consider turning it off at halftime because it's so bad.
Well, whatever the case may be, I think the Clippers. You're right; they're a little bit more complete. Zubac in the paint there, he's really performed exceptionally this season, where he stepped up and now he's giving them about 16 and 12 rebounds a game. He's never done this type of production for them, so I think that really sets them apart. Where they have a big game coming up. I think over the next couple today or tomorrow, whatever the case is, Game 5. This is a tight series. I had the Clippers in 6. I think in terms of what matches up better for the Thunder, I think they would match up better against the Clippers. I think Jokic is going to give problems to anybody, but you want to have a little bit more strength down there. And I think with Hartenstein and Chet, you'd have a better chance in guarding. In LA, you have Zubac and their power forward. I mean, they run a relatively small lineup. I don't know if Kawhi is running the 4 because they're trying to get Norman Powell those minutes. Obviously, they have James Harden starting, and I think Chris Dunn starts as well. So I think they run a pretty. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I just got distracted for a quick second here. Ben's really throwing things off over here for me, but that's okay. I think the Thunder would ideally like to play the Clippers, but at the end of the day, they're gonna get whoever they're going to get, and regardless of the fact that I think both ways that series is going to end in 6 games in favor of the Thunder if they play the Clippers or if they play.
You think we'll lose twice? Like I'm not saying it as like where I think that you're wrong. I'm just saying you think that those teams will beat us twice.
Well, let's say the fact that it's healthy. We're talking about a 7-game stretch. You're going to figure out strengths and weaknesses. By game 1, 2, you're gonna get a feeling for a team. So you're not playing just any team. You're gonna be playing 2 very good teams. You got to give respect to the Nuggets who won a championship 2 years ago. Yes, there's a lot of turmoil in that organization over the last month. Let's just say Clippers look like they're stronger in that sense, but with Kawhi's inconsistency in terms of being on the court, that really affects a lot. But if we're gonna take healthy Clippers, Kawhi's on that court every game, healthy Nuggets, Michael Porter's shoulder's not bugging him, even though it's his non-shooting shoulder. Yeah, I mean, 6 games. Listen, at the end of the day, it's not any slouch. 6 games is you got the job done. But listen, you play in Denver, it's tough. That altitude is difficult. Just gives you one weakness right there. It's not saying that you can't win 2 games in Denver, but it gives them a little bit more of an advantage on the home court over there. We know how home court is huge in basketball. And for the Cavs too, I mean, I think which I believe they're going to end up playing the Pacers, that's going 6 games. If they play the Bucks,
you think the Pacers will beat the Cavs twice?
I think the Pacers are a very big dark horse team. I think the Pacers, if not the Cavs, will win that Eastern Conference.
Interesting.
Because I think the continuity they play offensively is incredible. What the Celtics do on the court is they make a lot of difficult shots. They take a lot of 3-pointers. Now, a team like the Orlando Magic, who's they're playing in the first round, elite defensive squad, they've been able to make a kind of a decent series in terms of the scoring of the games because they're kind of not allowing the Celtics to play to their strengths, but they are a very strong team, regardless of the fact is, and they haven't been fully healthy. Now, if I saw the Celtics play in a series, considering I'm noticing that not everyone's 100%. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they look like they're aching. KP, Drew Holiday's missed some games as well. You know, if we're going to take it on a full strength basis, yeah, the Celtics are probably going to come through. But, you know, considering what we know, right, I'm going to consider the fact that Dame Lillard's out. And I think the Cavs would win that series in 5 games against the Bucks because Dame Lillard is out. We know he's out. There's no way. I don't think they're getting past the Bucks. They're probably going to lose going back to Indiana. But, you know, when you're talking about the Celtics versus the Pacers here, the Pacers play very smooth offense. And I think Pascal, Miles Turner, Nembhard, Naismith, those guys are playing some great basketball. We haven't even gotten to Tyrese Halliburton and what he's been doing for that team and just kind of being the floor general that they need. So I think the Pacers are a dark horse. I'm wrong a lot of times. There's a probability that the Celtics would beat them if that were to be the case. But I feel that the Pacers will match up really well against the Celtics, considering if somebody misses a game here and there. Listen, they're a 4 seed for a reason. You know, they were better than the Bucks. They were better than the Pistons this season. They were, the Pistons are not a very comparable team, but they were better than a lot of teams that they probably were overlooked considering going into the season. They started a little slow and then they kind of picked it up. You know, Orlando being a 7 seed was probably more shocking than anything, right? Everybody expected them to take that next step up, but they had nobody other than Paolo and Franz to really do anything on the offensive side on things. That's where they're going to
make a splash this offseason. I agree with you, but I don't think that I appreciate the respect you have for your opponent, but I think the Pacers will be up at half in the first game, and then they won't have another lead. Like I don't think that they're
against
comparable.
The Cavs.
Yeah, I don't think they're comparable to the Cavs at all.
No,
I think that
I agree.
And I don't think that they could last 48 with them. I mean, what was their season series like? Did they beat them at all?
The Pacers did beat the Cavs this season, but so did the Miami Heat.
Right. No, I'm just asking. We could go into the load management and all that stuff, see if any of that was relevant. But regardless, I think what's it called? I don't think that. I think maybe the Cavs lose one on the road. If any of these nagging injuries catch up, maybe Game 3 is the one for them to win, but it would definitely be nice to clinch at home. But I don't think it would go longer than 5. I'd put my money on a sweep over 6, but I'd say 5.
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, I think it's no slouch to take a series in 6 games. And I'm not discrediting my team or your team. I think both of our teams are by far the best teams in the NBA. So I expect a finals matchup that's going to show the Cavs and the Thunder because they're playing the best brand of basketball overall, right? But when you're matching up in a 7-game series, and you start getting comfortable with your opponent as the series gets along, I'm not saying that it won't end in 5 games or 4 games, but just based on the fact that these teams are getting to the next round, they've beaten their fair share of their opponents, and considering the pedigree of roster that they have, I think, it's not hard to say that they will go 6 games based on the matchups. Now, I also said in the first round, it's very hard to sweep. Now, there was a lot of things to consider, right? I mean, for the Heat, at least, they just were demoralized that series. I mean, from really after halfway through Game 3, it seemed like they just kind of checked out and they were done with that series and they just wanted to be over with it. On the flip side, for obviously, if you're comparing the Grizzlies and the Heat, it's very tough to compare. The Grizzlies are a much better team than the Heat are. But Ja Morant goes down in the second quarter of Game 3 when the Grizzlies were up by 29 points, I think it was, and then the Thunder came back. And then Game 4 was a 2-point game. So if Ja plays or if the Heat don't get demoralized, can they come through? Typically, that's what you see, right? You see a team that's 3-0, backs against the wall. They're going to come out and play their best. And you saw that with the Grizzlies, right? They're able to now obviously sit back. Ja's not playing. We know how to game plan now what we're going to have to do. And they played a very good game, but
I think they would have won Game 3. I wouldn't give them Game 4 though, because Ja was playing when we beat them by 51.
I agree. Exactly, and that's another thing to consider
I'd give them Game 3. They had us there. They had that.
I agree. Game 3 looked like it was in the wraps, but I actually texted you. I was like, it's never over. And it's true. I think, it's not to say that if Ja was healthy that the Thunder couldn't come back and win that game. We've seen it happen. I've seen it happen against the Nuggets, actually, where it was pretty lopsided early on, and then you just saw the Thunder creep back up, and they made it a game. So,
Well, that's why I think the Nuggets aren't really a threat, because they're not a team. They're stand around and watch this amazing player play, and then if we decide to triple team him, then he throws it out to someone. Like,
well,
it's not,
firing your head coach a week before the playoffs start, it makes things
even
very
before
difficult.
that, we blew them out a few times, but I think what makes the Cavs and the Thunder specifically different, and it's really fun that they're both of our teams, but even just looking in the landscape of the NBA, the multiple prolonged double-digit win streaks in the year, you don't always see that. I feel like the I feel like to have multiple teams with multiple 10-game win streaks, that shows continuity, where you're playing different teams over the same course of time, or sometimes even back to backs, and you're still winning game after game after game. Resting a guy doesn't matter. You don't have your star getting his A game, getting all of his points, doesn't matter. He still won the game. So I think that's why, to me, the Cavs are kind of disrespected in terms of the Celtics, where the Celtics, I feel like they beat up on everybody that they were supposed to, but I feel like in the big games, I know the Knicks have a terrible stat against the over 500 team, so but we're not talking about them, but I'm pretty sure the Cavs handled the Celtics when they played them. The Thunder lost one game to the East, and it was not to them. So those two teams, I think, are a real barometer of the test of where you're at compared to them. But yeah, we were talking about it before, and I agree with you about the Celtics getting past the Magic. But beyond that, you never really know, because they have the skill, they have the talent, but they if one of these teams that wins a playoff series feels good, they might walk in the building and have more energy than the Celtics, and then they'll look back and say, we lost game one, we're down at half in game two, and maybe they'll come back, but you just don't want the stress like that. I feel like when you're supposed to be when you're 10 games clear of the 3 seed, like, I feel like you should be playing like the Cavs and the Thunder did.
And so many people still have the Celtics as the back-to-back champions, so to speak. So yeah, there's a ton of disrespect. That's what you're gonna get when you're a small market team, and you have to go out there and quote unquote prove it. Even though I don't understand how what they've done so far isn't enough proof to show that these two teams are at the top of the game in their respected conferences. And I think for the NBA's sake, they really want to see. And I know that it's all about ratings, and they'll probably get a lot more viewership if it was Boston versus LA in the finals. But the truth is,
I don't know.
it's
Been
all
a
about
problem.
ratings, right? I mean,
It's
if
been a
you,
huge problem. Ratings have been a huge problem. I
uh,
feel like a Cavs Thunder final would save basketball. I mean, maybe Celtics Thunder. I don't really know who else from the West could represent to show the game at the highest level like that. Maybe if Jimmy comes back and the Warriors are clicking and they go on a run, if they're super hot, that could be a cool team.
what I think long term is you need the Cavs and the Thunder, but
Yeah.
short term speaking, in terms of what the market's going to dictate, it's the Celtics and Lakers because of the size of their fan bases all across the world. Everybody supports and loves the Lakers, the Celtics. Luka now plays for the Lakers, so that international presence. The Celtics just won the championship, and being Boston and being LA, that has its own separate category because there's such a bigger fan base for those teams. One thing to say though, the Cavs have, I think it's number 3 in the NBA amongst social media following. That's probably because LeBron played there for so long, and made them an international team as well. So I think in the long run, yes, you want Cavs and the Thunder because the brand of basketball you'll see on the court over those span for the people who do watch, and then gets reposted and then blown up across all platforms. Once these finals are done between these two teams, it's going to show that this is what the NBA needs. It's good basketball, right? High level, high IQ basketball, team basketball on both ends of the court, offense, defense, transition, whatever the case is. Both these teams do that so well. They're very similar in nature. They have one superstar and then a bunch of really, really, really good players surrounding that one superstar. A lot of chemistry, played around each other together. So many similarities. New head coaches. I mean, I can't even pronounce the Thunder's head coach's name. I'm sorry, Dagano.
Yeah,
Right? How long has he been their head coach? 2 years?
3 or 4.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, but he was the coach. He went from 24 wins to 40 something to 50 something to 68.
So I mean, he's taken that team from step 1 to step 100, basically. I mean, that Thunder team has been notoriously good at making great trades for the organization for the long run, and it's clearly paid off. The Cavs have done so as well, and they've banked on this roster, and they've extended everybody long term. So I agree in the sense that this is what is better for the NBA. Probably, if you ask them what they want immediately, a Lakers Celtics would somehow be absolutely insane for them, but it's not
Lakers
going
are
to
one
be.
game from elimination, though.
I agree, 100%, right? I mean, are you going to ever really root out LeBron? A lot of people who say, oh, it's happened before, why not, right? Luka, LeBron. People had the Lakers in the conference finals. At the end of the day, I mean, I had the Lakers also winning this series too, but considering that I didn't take into consideration that Anthony Edwards, it's another version in the playoffs, which he is lighting it up, and I'm so happy to see because I think he's a stud. And preseason, I had them, playing the Thunder in the conference finals where that went 7 games.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I think that's very high possibility of that happening. We're probably going to see a Warriors Timberwolves, a 6-7 matchup
That
in
would
the
be
conference semis. So that'll
That'd
be
be
interesting. We don't want to get into that right now, but it's
Uh,
it's a lot of
yeah.
great basketball that we're seeing right now, at least from the 2 top teams in the conferences, and we're excited to see how their next matchups end up playing out. But we'll wrap up. I mean, you got anything final to give your touches on basketball, and then we'll get into the NFL draft?
Let go Thunders.
Let go Cavaliers.
Cavalier.
Cavalier. I don't even know. It's been a long time.
Definitely
Well,
has.
the NFL draft happened last week, and I'm happy. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty happy with how my
pretty
team
happy.
did.
Go Giants!
Yeah, I think the Giants did pretty well considering they did what they had
Bad
to do for
time.
themselves. The Saints also drafted a quarterback, Tyler Shah. Correct? Is that
Yeah.
how you pronounce that last name too? Shah?
It's too far from the season for me to care to look into how to pronounce it.
25,
That's
25 years old. He is older than Brock Purdy, but age is just a number. We all know that.
Yeah.
And you believe in your organization for having a reason why you draft somebody. And so, listen, he was drafted before
Yeah.
Shador Sanders and Jalen Milroe and, Dylan Gabriel, which, were expected on some of those guys, but he kind of creeped up the charts towards the draft, and it started making noise that, it made sense. The Saints needed a quarterback, so why not go get one? And that seemed like
Yeah.
he was their guy. So I don't know how excited your level is, but at least for my level of excitement for Jackson Dart, I know it's not happening this season. We have Russell Wilson. So it's great to see the development, though, because, and I've reiterated this in the past, I love it when a quarterback gets drafted and they get to sit on the sidelines for a year. No
Yeah.
reason to go rush them into these games. Let them go
For sure.
watch from an NFL sideline. Let them go watch Brian Daboll and Russell Wilson and see how it's done. And I think so long as Derek Carr stays healthy, that's what the Saints should be
Right.
doing as well. I know that's tough. It's a tough scenario, but you really want to throw. Now, it's a different situation. 25-year-olds, a little bit more experience level, but it's still kind of the same thing. Do you really want to just throw them out there and say, let's go and figure it out?
I definitely do.
Wow, that's
Because
quick.
it's just that if you watch Derek Carr over the years, if you don't start him, then he's gonna get thrown in the middle of the year without
Hold
with
on, though.
1
Can,
week
can you
to
put a lot
prepare.
of can you put a lot of that blame on Dennis Allen, though?
Of Derek Carr's injuries.
Just the play. I mean, the playmaking. He's your play caller. Well, was.
I don't know. I've seen things that I like, but I've seen a lot of panic throws where it's not really on schedule, and it's of course you can't always be on schedule, but when you're not on schedule, you still have to have a plan. You can't just kind of throw it in the direction and hope. But I think that Tyler Shaw, whatever. I think that he's gonna get better from doing, and this is a really great year to do that. And then also you see if Derek Carr's healthy, because not for nothing, if this guy pans out, then you could someone will probably take on his contract for I don't even know how many more years are left, but that's not likely we'd get anything for him, but just get him out off our books. But it's just always the same thing. It's just starts off the year okay, something's hurt, something's and it sucks because it's a hard game, it's a physical game, but people got to be able to got to be able to do it. And getting a first round O lineman, whoever is at quarterback, will definitely be helpful for the rebuild. But if it's a true rebuild, then you don't have a $50 million quarterback. I mean, he's on the roster, so it's definitely tough, but he's gonna just, I don't know, he's gonna get hurt if he's not, like, it's pretty much inevitable. There's certain players that you're you're hoping that they just miss a couple games at the beginning of the year and then they get it right.
So just
And
quick.
he
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were stopping your
No,
flow
no, no,
for a
you're okay.
second. No. Keep going because I have a quick thing. I have to get breaking news.
Yeah, sure. And I think I just think that I'm really excited about Kellen Moore. Whoever he brings in, he's a brilliant football mind and he's gonna get the best out of this offense no matter what, just as long as the throws are accurate.
I definitely agree with Kellen Moore's got a great offensive mind. So hopefully he unlocks something for the Saints. Who Dat Nation needs to come back. I love it when they play their old school nitty gritty football. So,
yeah.
if we can see that level of football from, the great state of Louisiana, I think football will be better off too when the Saints are doing good things too. But the breaking news I wanted to share just on basketball, Stephon Castle was just named Rookie of the Year for the NBA. I think that was pretty much a guarantee. He was the most promising player that I saw, at least in games, and it'll be interesting to see how he and Wemby develop out in San Antonio.
I bet on that before the season, but then I cashed it out because I was impatient.
Of course, it's okay. You probably still got some money back though, which is good. Overall, though, I will say, drafting Abdul and going up and getting your guy in Jackson Dart and Darius Alexander and a few other pretty great players that fell off a lot of charts and people thought they should have went early. You got to feel happy. You got to feel confident. Obviously, there's been so many mistakes in my organization drafting wise over the last few years, so it's tough. But Brian Daboll is a great coach, and I think it's a lot saying that considering there was a lot of bad thoughts for me during the season. But the truth is, when you really get to settle down and look at the bigger picture, he's got a great football mind and he could develop a quarterback. And that's the reason he was brought here.
Yeah,
and he never got that opportunity because Daniel Jones pushed everything aside when he played really well that first year. Now he gets his guy. I think this kind of guarantees his job for at least another season because Jackson Dart is most likely not going to play at all, or if much, in 2025. So, they're going to want to, I doubt they're going to draft this quarterback and then fire the head coach a year later and say, okay, we'll bring in a new coach that might not necessarily suit your needs. And that's what we've seen happen over the last few years. So I think this avoids that. And I don't mind that. I think Brian Daboll should stick around, help develop these guys. We don't need to do this in 1 year. It would be nice if it was done quicker, but I think this roster is much better. The defense looks incredible. The trenches look scary. I mean, Abdul, Dex, Brian Burns, Kayvon, Okereke, all these guys. I mean, it's scary down there. So I have a lot of promise. I feel a little bit more enthusiastic now than I did probably a week ago before the draft happened. So, as a Giants fan, I'm happy. I hope you are the same with your Saints. Your division is a little bit easier to maneuver through, right? I think, with the Falcons and the Bucks and the Panthers. Oh, we can't hear you anymore. Did you mute yourself?
No, but can you hear me now?
No, but yes. So I mean, are you happy with what the Saints have done, and how do you feel about their chances this season of making some noise?
I'm content, but I don't expect much noise.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Just
Baker
flat
Mayfield has got some years at least in that division to do some good stuff, and I think you root for someone like that too. I love Baker Mayfield, so I know he's in your division, and I know you're not a Bucks fan, and I'm not a Bucks fan, but Baker Mayfield, you hope for the best for some of these guys that have been written off in the past.
He's the type of guy once we're out, I'm fine rooting for, but he's the enemy while we're alive.
Of course. It's like the same thing for me and like the Commanders, right? I mean, Jaden Daniels is amazing to watch, and I respect it, but when we play you twice, I hope we spank the crap out of you. So there's that, and we hope for the best, and hope maybe Russell Wilson can save us for this season and make it a little bit more fun to watch because it's been brutal over the last couple of years.
What's the Giants receiving core looking like?
That's the biggest problem in my opinion right now is the receiving core. I mean, other than Malik Neighbors, they just paid Darius Slayton another 3-year extension, which I didn't understand why they gave him so much. You have Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt.
There's always those guys that are hanging around right before training camp that you can sign though.
Yeah, there's they picked up a couple of guys. Lil Jordan Humphrey they picked up. Not game changers by any sense. So we'll have to see.
He could be an okay tight end. We drafted him. That's why I said oi.
Yeah, so I think you hope for some progression from Tyrone Tracy on the running game, which I could see that happening. I think he's going to have a very fine season, and I'm excited to at least see where things go and see the progression of this team. But I think there's one team that is definitively better today than they were pre-draft. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty confident in this team. I don't know about you. You have a team too that's better?
I do have a team. I thought there were a couple, but I have one that I thought did a really good job.
I have a couple too that I think are better, but definitively better. I have one team. You have one team. Why don't we say it at the same time? 3, 2, 1. We'll have Ben go 3, 2, 1, and then we'll say our team.
Are we saying city, team name, or both?
What do you want to do?
I don't care.
Ben, what do you think we should do? Should we say the full city and the team, or should we just say the team name?
I think just the team name.
Okay, let's do it. 3, 2, 1, and we say which team is definitively better today than they were pre-draft.
Ready?
Okay.
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Browns.
Jaguars. Okay. There's a little bit of a pause there. But wow, the Browns. The Browns.
100%.
I would have never have guessed the Browns.
Considering
they traded back, and I went for the team that traded up to take that pick from them. And
they both did good. I mean, I didn't really think the Jags became. I don't know. I don't really know much about their draft besides Hunter, but Hunter's a good player. I don't really know. Since their coach had a fire speech about him, I don't really know what their. I mean, I assume they're going to use him in both, but I just think that the guy that the Browns got at 5 he could have been number 1 pick next year. Like, he's that good. Abdul's insane. Don't get me wrong. Cam Ward's a great quarterback. And I think that those guys, and Travis Hunter's a unicorn. So it makes sense for all those guys. Pats went for a need, and then Mason Graham is a stud. I mean, I think that everything they did, and then to close it out with Shador, I think that to be able to get him late, a lot of people are going to rag on him, but I think that everyone's saying that he's never had any adversity. He's never gone through it. All right, now they gotta be quiet and let him cook, because if he's got it now, where his dad's back coaching the college and all these things, and a lot of people don't like him. I'm not really so quick to pass the judgment on him. I feel like I just didn't want him in the first round on the Saints. I would have even taken him in the second round, honestly, and not batted an eye. But to get him in the 5th round, where people for 2 years were saying he was the number 1 quarterback in this class until halfway through the season, I think that that's a steal. And then they got Dylan Gabriel too. An Oregon guy.
Before they drafted Shador, they drafted Dylan Gabriel.
And they
drafted 2 quarterbacks.
They got the Ohio State running back, and I think Chubb will be on his way out. And then I think they got Judkins, because I think
Judkins is the Ohio State running back.
But I think Travion Henderson went to the Pats. They had 2 running backs that went.
Right. Travion Henderson went to the Patriots, and Judkins went to the Browns. Judkins went before Travion.
Right.
Early in the second round. He actually was their first pick in the second round, or they had 2 picks early in the second round.
He was the second one.
I'm not discrediting the fact that they had a pretty solid draft in terms of who they took, but Travis Hunter is a game changer type of player. I mean, forget about playing both sides of the field. I think this is a huge weapon he's already said it. He wants to play both sides of the field. He won't play football if he doesn't play both sides of the field. The Jags are going to put him out there.
I didn't know he said that.
He did say that, but the Jags are going to play him on both sides of the field. Did
you hear the speech? The speech was dope.
I did not hear the speech. I will watch the speech
later. I'll high level it for you, and then you could go look at it. It was basically the GM sitting next to him said, Travis Hunter defines what in the NFL now, being great in the NFL is challenging the boundaries, and Travis Hunter does that, and basically said that, and he's a great person.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. Now, considering that division too, where really, other than the Texans, who I don't know what direction they're looking at right now, considering they still have a ton of holes there. Stephon Diggs is out. That offensive line is atrocious. So whatever they're dealing with, they traded back a lot in the draft too. But considering, what the Jags did by taking him, I think this is going to be someone who they're going to be able to build a great organization around, at least for the next
Mhm.
5-6 years, and get a little bit more competitive. Give Trevor Lawrence a legitimate number one option, someone who's going to be
Yeah.
your elite, defensive back as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. Now, I wanted to quickly, it was funny because Shador has been the talk, and I really didn't want to go too deep into the Shador conversation.
Yeah.
But as my team did the most work on him pre-draft, I'll tell you the reason the Giants didn't draft him, at least.
Yeah, I know the reason, but go ahead.
You know
Tell
the
people.
reason. And for
Tell the
anyone
people.
else who doesn't know the reason was when it was time to go over playmaking. He got obviously a package in the mail that goes over the Giants' plays and learn it, so that when he goes and meets with Brian Daboll, they can have an actual conversation about what's happening on the playbooks. Brian Daboll's asking him questions. He's not really involved. He's really not giving the right answers, and he got called out on it. Brian Daboll called him out. He didn't like getting called out by Brian Daboll. And so when you're in that type of situation here, how are you going to get drafted by that organization?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if there's 10 rounds in the draft, right? I mean, the consideration kind of ends right there. And,
Yeah.
these GMs have conversations. The truth is, hey, you have a friendly GM. Listen, at the end of the day, I forget the Carolina Panthers GM, but him and Joe Shane have a very close relationship. And so if he has a conversation with, hey, between, what do you think? We're friends. How did that meeting go with Shador? Carolina's not nowhere near drafting. They have Bryce Young, right? They're not drafting Shador Sanders. How'd that go?
Mhm.
To be honest with you, Mr. Carolina Panther GM, I don't know. Might not be the guy for us, right? Now that kind of spreads around and people start getting that whiff. It's like, how bad could that have been that the Giants are completely not considering him now, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about someone who could have went one, potentially was going to go in the first 5 picks, and then was definitively a first-round pick until these things happened, right? And I think it's about the fact that personality, right? Like, I don't really care personality. Like, I'm gonna do me, and if this kind of works out, then great. If not, I don't want to play for you, or I don't want to play for this team. That kind of doesn't sit well. I'm not taking away from the guy's talent. Now, there's a lot of talent there. There's a lot of flaws there too. He's not the most versatile
Yeah.
quarterback in the sense of, in adversity, he doesn't really do too well in terms of in the game. Right?
Yeah.
How does he manage those situations when there's pressure on him, when the pocket collapses and he's getting a ton of pressure on him? Not too well. He's got a crazy arm. And as a 5th-round pick, I'd say, yeah, you take a chance on him. But why would you take a chance on him? And then also you're taking a chance on Dylan Gabriel. I mean, how does that work in that dynamic? Is it just like stay in that competitive mode, like you're still competing? You still have Joe Flacco on that roster, Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett now goes in there too. It's a ton of quarterbacks, but who's their guy? I mean, it makes sense that Joe Flacco starts week 1,
Yeah.
but you're also paying Deshaun Watson a ton of money.
Well, he's hurt.
He's hurt, but would you not consider the idea of playing him if he was healthy? I'm not saying yes or no.
He was the worst. He was the worst quarterback in the league last year, I think,
For
based on
sure,
the numbers. But
playing through
me-
a ton of lingering injuries that never cleared up on him in a really tough situation. I mean, the Browns, other than the quarterback, not great, right? I mean, he was his number one option last season. Jerry Jeudy for most of the season, right?
Yeah.
And so
Amari for the first half, and then Jeudy.
right, Amari, and then he got
I know
traded
what you mean.
off, and then Jeudy, and then Jeudy traded in, or he signed in the preseason
Yeah, whatever
to
it
Cleveland.
was.
Whatever the case is, though, it wasn't like such a huge room. Who was their tight end? Point is, can Shador have a great career in the NFL? Absolutely. There's no question about it. Are there going to be teams that are going to regret it? We'll have to see. We'll have to see what's going to happen, how he's going to actually show out. Is his demeanor going to change a little bit? Maybe he distances himself a little bit from Dion and says, I got to do my own thing. That probably could be the best thing for him. I would never want to wish something bad on a player, but I'd like to see maturity. I'd like to see morality. And I'd like to see that you're committed to the organization that drafts you. He got drafted by a team that he told basically, don't draft me. He doesn't want to go play in Cleveland, right? It was Raiders, Giants. Those are the teams he wanted to play for. Right?
Yeah, well, I think that when a pick is traded to trade up in the 5th round, I think that you're looking at there's no reason that this arm talent should still be here. I mean, you look at Dylan Gabriel, you look at Sanders, like you said. I think that Shador will get a year of practice squad reps unless injuries happen, and they're going to really work with him to refine his game. And I think that he'll learn a lot from Flacco. And I also think that they'll work with him to really get him solid in everything, and he'll get the reps there, and he'll also get some reps where he gets humbled with Miles Garrett and now Mason Graham, and they always find the studs on the D line to really wreak havoc, and he'll be humbled by the speed of that, and then he'll work. And maybe that meeting with the Giants didn't go the way anyone would have wanted it to, but the fact of the matter is, I think that what's it called? I think that Shador is going to be. I mean, I think he could be a starter in this league if he just needs to refine that. I didn't want him in the first round because I didn't think he was ready now. I think that if he was going to start now, he'd be a burnout. But if a team like this, where Cleveland is known as the revolving door of quarterbacks, where there's people with jerseys with 25, 26, 27 quarterbacks on their backs. Sorry, Jay Cluck. Um, but to bring in two quarterbacks that you're unsure of their upside and have them work together, grow together, and then you see what happens, and then you see what happens. I mean, nobody thought Kirk Cousins would be better than Mariota, right? I mean, RG3 or whatever.
Right. I mean, there's a lot that could happen. You hope that he's going to have a 20-year career. I hope he's going to have a 20-year career. We'll have to see, though. I mean, you got to go out and prove yourself too at the end of the day. So, good luck, Shador. As a Cavs fan, I like the city of Cleveland, and I don't mind if the Browns did well. That's a tough division to do well, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. Jay Cluck, good luck with that quarterback room. We got to wrap up with that quickly. Congratulations, Shaquille O'Neal, for being named Sacramento State GM, not getting paid. I don't want to get too much into this, but just want to say congratulations. His son Sharif is on that organization, so it's
So does Shakir. Shakir.
Maybe Shakir.
Either way.
Yeah,
Either
one
way.
of the sons, and so he now has an honorary role. Some of these other NBA players I see, actually, Steph, Trae Young, these guys have assistant roles. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. We'll probably see a little less of him on TV, but congrats on the new gig, Shaq.
Yeah, congrats, Shaq. I feel like you've always been someone that's just keeping it chill, keeping it low key, not really trying to cause any problems. So I hope that you can put a school on the map, and then maybe when your son's done playing, you could start to go to other schools and maybe help realize the beauty of these universities. If there is, like, I'm not throwing shade like that. Just some schools just don't invest in their athletics, and you could tell. And some schools, when you bring in a personality like that, they say, look, we have something here, people are interested in this. But yeah, I think that that's pretty much it. Just it's going to be cool for them.
Interesting to see how that works out. Another great story, and I mean, this one was really, really great. Josh,
Yeah,
I'm going to let you, since you're the hockey guy here, I'm going to
yeah, for
let you get
sure.
into it real quick here, but this was probably one of the things that I was looking forward to most talking about today.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing how someone can keep their role as the captain of a team after being out for over 1,000 days. I mean, before that just shows the type of impact they have in that locker room without even stepping on the ice. But Gabriel Landeskog returned for game 3 of the playoffs, the home opener for the Avalanche, and he scored a goal in game 4. We'll get right to that. 1,041 days between his goals. So in the 2020 Stanley Cup champ finals or playoffs, I didn't that part. I still have to watch the show. I want to watch the show. It's gonna be cool. Kale McCarr's skate sliced his the vertebrae in his not the vertebrae. Sorry, I'm making so many mistakes today. He sliced the cartilage in his knee, and he came back on the ice for 16 seconds and collapsed. He couldn't do it. So then he got surgeries. He came back in 2022. It wasn't right. So he became the first player to get the knee cartilage surgery on his leg and come back. It's the same surgery Alonzo Ball got. He came back, but the first hockey player to do it. And it's so inspiring for people looking for something to drive towards, because this guy had it all. They were champions. He really he really worked hard to continue to get stronger and to get back out there. And I just think that it's so cool. Like you see how captivated the crowd was, and then when he scored, everyone the reaction. The only goal that I think that was celebrated more this year, besides an overtime winner, was Ovi's goal, which obviously you're going to celebrate that more. But besides that, it's really cool that everyone's so happy for him, and that's kind of a microcosm. If you're not really into hockey, you got to understand it's like a big fraternity, a big brotherhood, especially within your locker room. And then you go around, and there's mutual respect because of how hard what they do is on a day to day basis. That's not all sports, though. But I want to hear your thoughts on it now that I gave a little synopsis.
I mean, considering it was over 1,020 games for the difference in how many games he played, 1,041 for the amount of goals. I mean, this is such an inspiring story. The captain, nonetheless, of the team, probably one of the reasons why the Avalanche kind of fell off for a couple of years after they won the Stanley Cup was they didn't have this type of player on the ice with them going at it. And I
Yeah, for
mean, the
sure.
fact that he comes back into the playoffs. I mean, he played for the AHL team for a few weeks, kind of like the minor leagues, get everything situated, get some minutes under the ice, and then he comes in and it's game one. He has a great game, but then game two, he's got a goal, he's got an assist, helps his team, potentially advance to the next round, playing meaningful time after not playing for 1,040 games or 1,020 plus games with those types of injuries. It's one of those
Mm.
things where, you got to look at it, right? And you hope that hockey grows because these are the types of things that will needs to be out there. I feel like, I didn't know about this until you brought it to my attention. And once you brought it to my attention, I was shocked to see that this is what, Landeskog went through to get back onto the ice, playing for a very good team, right? I mean, he's got one of the best players on ice as well as his teammate, Nathan McKinnon. And, you need your captain out there to be able to get you through some of the most toughest games, playoff environment. You were just there in the finals, in the Stanley Cup finals a few years ago, and you played through some injuries then too, because that's what hockey players do. They play through injuries. And then he got surgery, was supposed to be out for like 12 weeks. It took longer. He was out for the whole season, finds out he needed another surgery on the other knee. That took him out for the next season, and then it was just a bunch of rehab to get back when you miss that much time. I mean, one of the most incredible stories, and I think this is something that ESPN Sports Center needs to really captivate and show out because it's a really beautiful thing. And I think for a sport that really does deserve to get a lot more attention, these are the types of things that you'll capture some NBA and some NFL fans and some MLB fans and say, wow, that is not something you typically see. I mean, we are Yankee fans. We saw Luis Severino deal with multiple back-to-back injuries, and he just never was able to come back and be the same. I mean, it's not similar to this, but it's similar in other senses, dealing with those injuries. So, I got to give kudos to you, Landeskog. I really am rooting for you. Go do some magic out there. Go score some more goals. See if you could lead those Colorado Avalanche to another title. Probably not going to happen, but if it does, that would be an incredible story, and we'll definitely talk about that. So definitely got to give you some kudos. What a great story, and these are
For
the
sure.
reasons why I start getting interested in hockey again.
Yeah, for sure. The playoffs is also just a fun time in every sport, but hockey especially.
For sure. I mean, it's just tough when you're an Islander fan. You don't get to watch playoff hockey. For
Hmm.
for the last few years, it's been really rough on us. But that was a fun show. We got a lot done. I know last week we had Matt on here, and it was a lot of questions, just kind of talking to the guy that's been asking so much. And so we want to get some content out there, some current events, some news, some draft stuff,
Sure.
some NBA stuff. So we got a lot of information out there today, which was really great. It was a fun episode. Anything else we gotta go over? You wanna let them know where they can find us?
Well, I started to realize that if they're watching this, then they probably found us. But Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube, make sure to tell a friend and follow that Instagram and just keep supporting. We appreciate you all for the constant interaction and appreciation you show for us doing this. It's why we love doing it so much.
And I mean, listen, I'm here. We're here every week, and this is so much fun. Just talking about sports. I never can get enough about talking about sports. But I love doing this, and thank you guys so much for viewing. And let's not forget the best part of the show, our famous yogiisms. I don't know if this one's been said before, Josh. You're going to have to remind me, but I want to hear what your rating is. You wouldn't have won if we'd beaten you.
I had not heard of that one, but that's chef's kiss.
You got to love it. I mean, Yogi, first of all, give it the score. What's the score on it? Score.
Oh,
Give
the
me
grade?
score. Yeah.
Of course. Oh, a chef's kiss is like above a 10. Like it's like a perfection.
Okay, so we'll use that as a scaling method. If you get this chef's kiss, it's above a 10.
Yeah, that's top mark. Like it goes 1 to 10 with all the decimals and then the chef's kiss.
Well, thank you guys tuning in for another great episode here at Beyond the Score podcast. Comment away, call us crazy. Don't forget to do that. Matt, we're looking out for your questions, and we will see you guys in the next week.